how to understand what it's being spoken in a language. I have a lot of people asking me that in my real life, and I would like to just share my views on it. So, there is no magic trick. I think that should be said. That's pretty obvious. And we can nail it down to logic. You just have to listen a lot. And I think it's easier to view it as a behavior, a habit of having the language be part of your daily life. So you're always in contact with it, and thus you are improving at it. So you just have to listen a lot. No magic tricks. No anything. So just try to find things that you find interesting and that will keep you interested in using the language, because you're just going to use the language to absorb content and information. So just find things that you find interesting and do that in the language. And it's a constant thing that is going on all the time, so you're always improving. It's only improvement, right? There's no magic trick that out of nowhere you just know everything. It's just a constant behavior, and you are constantly building upon it and improving. So that's the first thing. Just build a habit. Build a listening habit. It's a long-term behavior. There's no shortcut. I am talking specifically about listening, but it's about everything. It's learning, right? Learning languages, learning everything, and learning how to listen and understand things better in a language is just the same. It's a constant behavior. It's going on all the time. So if you're a beginner, you will look for things for beginners, right? You have a limited vocabulary, so you're going to be listening to things that are more beginner friendly. But I suggest strongly that you do not limit or restrict yourself to that only. I think in the long run, you got to be enjoying it. So enjoying it, you will be listening to things that interest you. So you just mix your beginner-friendly content and content that is more direct towards language learning or learning that language. You might find lots of things on YouTube, but also just listen away. Just, random things that interest you. You don't have to understand everything, at first, and you won't, by the way. Again, it's a constant build. So you just gotta enjoy and relax. Just don't over judge yourself, and just enjoy the process. Enjoy the sounds. Every little thing is adding up. So you're learning rhythm. You're learning sounds and noises. You're learning. Besides actually understanding what the words mean and capturing the words. So just have a good time. In the long run, you're going to be enjoying. So just listen to things that interest you and mix that, especially in the beginning, with things that are easier for beginners, simpler vocabulary, a more limited amount of words. But don't do just that. Don't just do that. Just mix that with real world things. They're not based on language learning levels such as beginner or advanced or whatever. Just be there. You're building a habit. That's the point of it. There's going to be no end to the habit. Of course, it's just how you behave. So build that behavior. And in the long run, you're going to be doing things that are enjoyable. to use. So just mix these two things. That's what I do when I start out a language. I'm gonna be learning basic vocabulary, and I am immediately applying that vocabulary to the real world. So absorbing information that I want to absorb, so things I find interesting, and also expressing myself. So, but I'm talking about listening. So let me just skip it. I don't want to be just go overall. I'm talking about listening only. So just build a habit, find things that interest you, and that's it. Long-term behavior. You're always listening. You're always improving. You don't have to overjudge yourself. You're not going to be understanding everything at all times. And that's fine. That's how it works. The more you're there, the better you get, obviously. So you might revisit things that in the beginning you couldn't understand a lot. And naturally, when you return, you're going to be able to understand a lot more. So it's just bringing language to your individual life. And just don't be judging yourself too harshly. Just enjoy it. That's what it is. You know, like if I start a language and I want to watch a movie in the language, I'm going to understand what I will understand. That's it for the moment. That's what I can do. I keep on with the language in my daily life, just listening along, just doing things I enjoy, mixed with everything else, of course, reading, communicating. And, you know, like little by little, I'm going to understand more and more. I'll have a wider vocabulary, you know, and I'll be able to recognize more words. I'll get more used to the rhythm. And, you know, you just grow in that. You know, eventually you'll be able to recognize words that you don't even know the meaning, but now you're used enough and you have enough vocabulary to just isolate those words that you don't know because it's practice. You listen so much that you just get used to it. And then you learn more words, and now you also know the meaning of the words you're hearing, right? So it's a constant thing. Just find things you like. You can mix learner content, like channels that talk about learning that specific language, with just real language being spoken. Now, a couple of things I recommend and tools. The main tool would be YouTube. It's no big surprise here. And through your interests and through your habits and your own research that you're going to be doing, by means you're going to be led into looking for those things, but you're going to be led by your interests into looking for what you are interested in, and you're going to find content, and it's a snowball. I can't be naming specific things here because I'm talking about habits. So your everyday life, you're going to be looking for things and finding content, and it's a snowball. You just find more and more things. You get more into the community where the language is spoken. You find new content. Now, one kind of content that I really enjoy, and I think it's one of the best for obvious reasons, would be podcasts. Just finding interesting podcasts for you in the language. I find it the most fascinating thing because it's all I want. It's longer conversations being spoken, being led naturally in that language that I want to improve at. So find interesting podcasts, find videos, whatever, YouTube channels. You're going to find those things, audio, books, everything really. Mix content for language learning, especially as a beginner, and things that are friendlier for a beginner with just real things. Okay, I'm just repeating myself now. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I can give out a shout out. I can just shout out to Easy Languages, which is a conglomerate of channels. I think they started with Easy German. I might have mentioned it already in a previous video, probably, but these are really interesting channels because it's what enjoy the most, which is just the language being naturally spoken by people who speak the language. If you're learning German, Easy German has also a podcast in German, obviously, and audiocast. It's mostly just audio, so you check that out. Probably there's a easy language channel for the language you're interested in, and everything else you find. Just, it's a long-term thing. Don't overjudge yourself. Enjoy the process. Just relax. You gotta be relaxed. If you're judging yourself all the time, you're gonna have a bad time. And in the long run, you're gonna be doing things that you enjoy. I don't have to mention discipline, of course. It demands discipline, as anything in life will demand. Basics. It's pretty much basics. I'm assuming you already have that. From this point onwards, just keep on going. Enjoy. And that's it. Every little thing helps. And it's a constant build. Don't overjudge yourself. Relax. Have a good time. Expose yourself to real language as well. Again, not only content for language learners, but just the language being used. News, podcasts, whatever videos you find. You will find what interests you naturally through your behavior. And just keep at that. Long-term behavior improvement. These are the words. No magic trick. It's behavior. Okay? That's it. Thanks a lot. And you can learn. Okay? Be sure of that. Have a good time, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.